Hello students. So in today's class we are going to discuss the methods to create NumPy arrays. And in the previous class we have discussed how to create a one-dimensional and two-dimensional NumPy array by passing a list to the array method, right? So by passing a single list and by passing a multiple list, how to create a one-dimensional and two-dimensional array that we have discussed. And now let us discuss how to create NumPy arrays using certain methods. So let us discuss about the first method now, which is the empty method. So using this empty function, it helps us to create an empty array or uninitialized array. In the sense, if we just provide the shape of the arrays will be automatically initialized with some random or garbage values. So for that purpose, we make use of this empty method. And the syntax to create the empty array, syntax to create numpy arrays using the empty method is numpy.empty of shape d type equal to, which is the data type, and order equal to c or f. So this order equal to c or f represents c. When we mention the order equal to c, which means the data will be arranged row wise, whereas if we specify f, the data will be arranged column wise. And this data type d type, it actually helps us to provide specify the data type, in which format, in which data type we need the elements to be represented. For that purpose we make use of this d type and then order. So this d type and order parameter is completely optional, and in case if we are not going to specify this data type and order, the default data type will be taken as float and the default order will be taken as c, that is the elements will be arranged in row wise. So this is how it works. And shape represents the dimensions. So how many rows and how many columns we wanted to create for an array, that represents the shape. So let us discuss an example related to this. Import numpy as np. So as usual, to import the numpy from Python lib package, Python library, we will make use of this import statement, and followed by that array is a variable, and for that variable they have used this empty method. Now np dot empty of 3 comma 2 they have provided, whereas they have provided the data type even as int. So 3 comma 2 represents 3 rows and 2 columns. Right. So what happens? We have just specified the shape alone, that is the dimension. So based on the dimension, some garbage or random values will be automatically initialized over here. That will be automatically created as an array. See here, some random values will be automatically generated in the according to the shape of the array that we have created. So this is how it works. Now based on this, we are going to discuss a few more methods. The next method that we are going to discuss is about zeros. So this also works much similar to the empty method. So even in the zeros method, what will happen here is, when we make use of the zeros method along with the dimension if we have provided, all the elements will be created with zeros, right? The same data type and order, everything is going to be the same over here. If you're not going to specify, by default the data type will be specified as float, and then order will be taken as c. So let us look at an example over here. All the elements will be initialized to 0 when we make use of this zeros method. So array 5 equal to np dot zeros of 3 comma 4 they have given. So 3 rows and 4 columns. So all the 3 rows and 4 columns will be generated, or it will be initialized to 0. And as we have provided the data type as float, so each and every 0 will be preceded with the precision pointer, right? So this is how it works. And we have created a two-dimensional array here, and for a one-dimensional array, see here, np dot zeros of 5 if you're going to provide, it will generate an array with all zeros in one dimension, right? That too with floating point data type. As we have not specified the data type, by default it will take the data type as float. And so the default, as usual, it works much similar to the empty method only. So even here, and to represent the zeros according to the integer data type, we have to provide the data type as int. So see here, d type equal to np dot int they have provided, and all the zeros will be initialized, will be created, and it will be generated according to the integer data type. Clear? This is how it works. And then once method, so empty, zeros, and the third method is once. So once method, using the once method, this is also similar to the empty and zeros method, but here what happens, all the elements will be initialized to once. So as usual, the data type and order is optional. These parameters are optional. If you're not going to give, it will be automatically generated with the floating point data type. So np.ones of 5 they have given here, and they have assigned it to the array1 variable. And if we print that, see what happens. And here data type has not been specified. So what will happen? All the ones will be generated as the floating point data type. And here they have created a two-dimensional data type. So two-dimensional in the sense two rows and two columns. So all the two rows and two columns will be generated with ones with integer data type. So np.ones of 2 comma 2. So as per the syntax, we have to generate this array, numpy array. So see here, two rows and two columns. So everything will be generated with ones, and that belongs to the integer data type, as we have specified the data type as int. And now the next thing, so far we have discussed about zeros and ones method. So when we specify the zeros and ones method, what will happen? All the elements will be initialized to 0, or all the elements will be initialized to 1. But to create an array with a constant value, we have to make use of a method called full. So in this full method, along with the shape, we can specify the number which we wanted to create as an array. Right, so here they have given the dimension as 4 comma 4, which is 4 rows and 4 columns. So all the 4 rows and 4 columns will be generated with a, will be initialized with a constant value 8. So this is how it will be, the output will be displayed. Clear? And now the next method, which is a range method. So range function, we have already discussed about the range function in the for loop. So range function we usually use to to set a limit, the starting and the ending number, as well as we will provide the step parameters even. So the same we are going to do here, but with a little modifications. And we are going to make use of the range function along with an array, because we are going to create an array using the range function. So let us see how it works. And they have given the syntax here: array name equal to numpy dot arrange of start, stop, step parameter, and then data type. Let us directly get into an example. So if you see here what they have done, np dot arrange of 2 comma 7. So starting number is 2 and the ending number is 7. They have not provided any step parameter as well as the data type. So see what happens when you print this array. It will start, the starting number has been given as 2. So starting from 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 1 less than the last number you have to take into count. So this is how it generates, or it creates an array from the range function even. And let us look at some more examples. Array 7 equal to np dot arrange of 6. So starting parameter has not been given, so it will automatically start the values from 0. So 0 till 5 will be printed. Clear? And similarly, see here, they have given the starting parameter, ending parameter, and the step parameter has been given. Starting parameter they have given as 2, ending parameter is 24, and the step parameter is 4. So you have to skip 4 values in between. So starting from -2, and then if you skip 4 values in between, you will get 2. Again, if you skip 4 values in between, you will get 6. Skipping 4 values, 10. Again, skipping 4 values, 14, 18. So, 1 less than the last number, 24. So, only till 22 you will be able to get the values according to the range which we have set here. So, this is how the range function works. And now line space method. So line space method actually it helps to create the number of linearly spaced numbers. So linearly spaced means equally spaced numbers will be generated as according to the range which we are going to set up. So here it works much similar to the range function. Only thing is, instead of a range function, we will be using the line space method, start parameter, stop parameter, and then data type we will be specifying. So look at this example. np dot line space of 1 comma 10 comma 10 they have given. The starting parameter is 1, ending parameter is 10, and this 10 represents totally I wanted to display 10 equally spaced numbers. Yes, totally starting from 1 till 10 I wanted to display only 10 numbers in between. So for that purpose we specify this 10 over here as the ending parameter. So when you give print of line, by default it will take the floating point data type, and see what happens here. From starting from 1 till 10, 10 equally spaced numbers will be displayed. So even if you look at this particular example, 2, 3, comma 6. So starting from 2 till 3, I wanted to display only 6 values in between. So 6 values will be created between 2 and 3. So starting from 2, 2.2, 2.4, 2.6, 2.8. So it will equally display the numbers. It will equally generate the numbers. Totally, I wanted to display only six digits. So totally six digits will be equally generated. This is how it works, this line space method. Clear? And now let us look at the copy method. So copy method, if you see, it helps you to create a copy of the existing array. For example, if we have created an array already, the same copy of the array will be created later by using the copy method. And the changes which we are going to make, that will not be reflected in the actual array if we make use of the copy function. So let us see how it works. So x is equal to np.array of 1, 2 and 3. They have passed a list to the array method and the array has been created for the variable x. And y equal to x represents the values of x will be assigned to y. And z equal to np.copy of x, which means for the variable z, I'm making use of the copy function, and inside the copy function I have used the variable x. So the values which we have created for x will be assigned to the variable z. So as such, so the existing array will be assigned to the variable z. And now x of 0 equal to 10. So x of 0 equal to 10 means the value 10 will be assigned to the variable x, and to in which position, in the 0th index. So in 0th index we have 1, so this 1 will be replaced with 10. Clear? So there will be a change in the value in the variable x. So instead of 1, 2 and 3, the value will be now changed to 10, 2 and 3. And when you print x, what happens? See, 10, 2 and 3 gets printed. And the same value of x has been assigned to y, right? So again, even y will get the same value as 10, 2 and 3. And but for print of z, see what happens. np.copy of x I have given. So copy of x in the sense, nothing, whatever I have initialized first, the same will be copied to variable z, and the changes which we have made will not be reflected here in the variable z. It remains unchanged. So if I give print of z, only this 1, 2, 3 gets printed. So this is how the copy function will work. Clear? And now reshape method. So reshape method, if you consider, actually, if we wanted to create a 2D array, that is a two-dimensional array from the one-dimensional array, we can make use of this reshape function. So for that purpose, we make use of this reshape method. So from a one-dimensional array, it is possible to create a two-dimensional array by just making use of this reshape method. And usually shape in the sense we will specify the dimension, right? So that is what we are going to do here. So let us see an example related to this. A equal to np dot array of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 they have created. They have passed a list to the array method, and b is equal to, they have used the reshape method, and in this reshape method, which variable, which array we are going to change, that you have to specify here. So a, the variable a, that is we have created an array for variable a, that I have to make a change over there. So I have to specify that particular variable, and what is the shape that I have to specify. So 2 rows and 3 columns I have provided. So this one dimensional array I'm going to convert into a two-dimensional array. So 2 rows and 3 columns. And if you give print of b, see what happens. 2 rows. So 2 rows means 1, 2, 3, and the second row 4, 5 and 6. So totally 3 columns, 1, 2 and 3. So it will be equally allocated. So this is how it works. So I mean, giving the shape of the array, it depends upon the elements which we have here. So we have to provide the shape carefully when we are converting, when we are reshaping from one dimension to two dimension. And let us look at some more examples related to this reshape concept. So np dot range of 10 comma 22 they have given, which means I have created a one dimensional array. Sorry, a range function we have used. So starting and ending parameter they have given. Starting from 10 till 21, the array will be generated. So for array 3, we have generated some values, and now we are going to reshape this array 3. So array 3 dot reshape of 3 comma 4 they have given. So 3 comma 4, totally we have 12 elements. So this 12 elements I have to equally reshape and bring it into a dimension. So 3 rows and 4 columns will do the needful. So if I give 3 rows and 4 columns, in one particular row I can fix 4 elements, right? So 3 rows and 4 columns. Like that you can arrange it. And the other method is you can arrange it as 2 rows and 6 columns even. So it is up to the elements which we have. We can reshape a one dimensional array into a two dimensional array. Clear? And now we have discussed about the methods regarding NumPy arrays. Now let us discuss about the operations regarding NumPy arrays. So there is a difference between a method and operation. So method, when it comes to a method, you will make use of certain built-in functions like empty function, once function, reshape, arrange function, all these things. But when it comes to operations, you will make use of the symbols to work with NumPy arrays. So even in the list operations, we have come across many operations on lists like slicing, joining, concatenating, all these things we have discussed, right? So much similar to that, we are going to work with some of the operations on NumPy arrays. So very few operations are like slicing, joins, and subsets that we are going to discuss. So first let us discuss about slicing. So slicing, usually we will make use of the symbol colon. So slicing means extracting a part of the original array or cutting into two halves. Like that we have discussed already in list. So here array we are going to slice using the colon operator. If you look at this example over here, for data is a variable np.array of 52739. Here they have passed a list to the array method, which means they have created an array. And now if I provide a print of data of colon, which means I have not provided the starting and ending parameter, so what will happen? The entire array will be extracted and it will display the result as 52739. Clear? There is a difference between list and array, whereas in list the elements will be separated by comma, whereas in array the elements will not be separated by comma. And now in the next example, data of 1 is to 3. So starting parameter is 1 and the ending parameter is 3. So 1 less than the last number I have to access. So what is the, see here I have specified the index position 0, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So first index is 2, right? And then second index is 7. So 2 and 7 will be retrieved and displayed. Similarly, colon 2. So starting parameter has not been given. So what will happen? It will start from the 0th index and 1 less than the second index. So 5 and 2 will be retrieved and displayed. Similarly, minus 2 colon means minus 1, minus 2, minus 3. It will go like this, right? So minus 1, minus 2, minus 2, minus 1. Ending parameter has not been given. So 3 and 9 will be retrieved and displayed. So this is how it works, array slicing. And a few more examples related to array slicing has been given. See here, in the previous example, we have discussed about a one-dimensional array. And now in two-dimensional array, let us see how we will be able to access the elements using the index position. See here, they have given a of 1 is to 2, 0 is to 4. So 1 is to 2 represents the main index positions, the overall index position, and 0 is to 4 represents the internal index positions which we assign for the arrays which we have created, right? So 0, 1 and 2, again internally we will specify the index positions, right? That is what we are going to discuss. So 1 is to 2 in the sense starting from first index till second index. So only, so 1 less than the last means only this 5, 6, 7, 8 I will be using. In that, how many elements I'm going to access? 0 is to 4. So starting from 0th index till 1 less than the last fourth index. So 5, 6, 7, 8, everything will be retrieved over here. So if I give print B has been given as string, so this B gets printed as such, and this B represents the variable from which I'm going to access. So 5, 6, 7, 8 will be retrieved. Again in the next example, 1 is to 2. So in this first index, 1 is to 2 is the element which I'm going to access. So 0, 1. Only the 6 will be retrieved, right? So the 6 will be retrieved and displayed. And similarly here, starting index has not been given. So starting from 0 till 1, I can access all the index positions. And in that, 0 is to 2. So in all the indexes, I have to access only from 0 till the second element. So which elements you will be accessing? 0 and 1. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 9, 10. Like that we will be 1, 2 and 5, 6 will be retrieved. See, 1, 2 and 5, 6 will be retrieved, 1 less than the last index. So this is how we will be accessing each and every element. So look at one more example over here. np.array of few more lists they have passed over here, and see the index position 0 is to 3, and they have given the accessing element as 2. So 0 is to 3 in the sense 0, 1 and 2. So all the elements, all the arrays, all the rows I'm going to access here, and in that I'm going to access only the second element. So second element means second index position 0, 1 and 2. So 10 will be retrieved, 40 and 4 will be retrieved. That will be the answer. Now you understood how to perform slicing in a 2D array. Now let us discuss about joins in arrays. So joins of joining in the sense concatenating. right? Concatenation we have already discussed, joining two strings or joining two lists together using the concatenate function. So the same thing we are going to work on it even the 2D arrays and 1D array. So see here, here they have created two arrays and np dot concatenate of a comma b comma a they have given. In the sense what will happen, so 1 2 3 5 6, again a means 1 2 3, so it will concatenate, it will join all the elements together and it will display the result. Even if you look at over here, the same thing, it works in this much similar way. Let us look at few more examples related to this concatenation. So if you see here, np dot array of 10 20 30 and 40, and then np dot zeros of 2 comma 3. So zeros of 2 comma 3 means two rows and three columns will be full of zeros, will be created with full of zeros, right? So now we have created two different arrays and I wanted to join these two arrays. So before I join these two arrays, they are just checking the shape of the array. So array1 dot shape, if I give, it will display the dimension of the array, that is two rows and two columns. Similarly, array2 dot shape, two rows and three columns I have. Clear? And to concatenate these two arrays, I have to use a concatenate function along with the np variable. So np dot concatenate of array1 comma array2 equal comma access equal to 1. If I'm going to provide, everything will be arranged in the row wise. So see here, so access actually helps you to specify whether you want the elements to be displayed in row wise or column wise, and the default access value is 0. So if I give array1 comma array2, what happens? So access equal to 1 they have provided. So 1 in the sense what will happen here, 10 20 30 40. So see here, 10 20 30 and 40, it will be arranged in the row wise. So 0 0 0 again 0 0 0. So this is how it works, concatenating a 2D array. Clear? And now let us discuss some of the operations, like arithmetic operations. So far we have discussed about slicing and concatenating, and the arithmetic operations are much more easier even. So let us discuss about a few more things related to this. Okay. Okay, so if you look at the arithmetic operations, it is also very simple and easy to use. So if you look at these arithmetic operations, we have to just create two arrays and followed by that, and we can actually add it by using the variable z equal to x plus y. If you provide, see what happens. So the arrays will be automatically added up and it will display the result. So as usual, the basic arithmetic operations also we can perform over here on the arrays which we have created. And the next thing, here the element wise addition of two matrices they have given. So it is possible to allocate, it is possible to assign the arrays to the variable and we can just add the variables, or the other method is you can use it like this even. So much similar operations they have given everywhere, right? And transpose. So transpose and sorting, these are some of the other two operations which we are going to discuss here. So transpose of a matrix, in the sense I have told you, if it is going to be a two-dimensional array, it is also called as matrices, whereas a one-dimensional array is also called as a vector. Clear? And let us discuss about this transpose. Transpose means the array will be turned from rows to columns or column into row. So transposing an array, which is nothing but transforming a row into column, or column into row, which is nothing but transpose of a matrix. So see here, they have just created an array and followed by that, if you just give array of 3, what happens, it gets printed as such. So how much ever rows and columns you have created. But if I wanted to convert this rows into columns, I have to use this transpose method. So array3 dot transpose, if I am going to give, what will happen, array, see here, this row will be changed into column. So 10 minus 7 0 and 20 will be changed into a column. Again minus 5 1 240 will be changed into a column. Again it will be changed into a column. So this is how this transpose function works. And then sorting. So sorting, as usual, we know arranging in ascending or descending order, which is nothing but sorting. So if you see here, they have created an array, and if I give array 4 dot sort, everything will be arranged in ascending order. The array which we have created will be arranged in ascending order, and by default sorting is done in row wise, right? So which means the axis will be considered as 1. And if we want to arrange in column wise, we have to provide the axis as 0. So based on that, they have given the example even over here also. And I hope you have understood all the concepts, whatever we have discussed in today's class. So we will be discussing with few more concepts in the next class. Thank you.